Okay, we are live. Welcome, guys, to the pre-market overview, July 23rd, 2020. Today is a Thursday, so happy Thursday to everybody. So just to say, in case you didn't realize, this is me. I'm Becky. If you have any questions about anything I cover today, you can email me, becky@tradewithufos.com. There's also the support team. We say this a lot on the Tradewithufos channel. The support team being a team means that they can always respond quicker, or most of the time respond quicker. So email those guys with most of your inquiries, support@tradewithufos.com. Otherwise, of course, you can email me. So just to explain for those that maybe never joined us before, what we do today, what the pre-market overview is about. The main body, what we do is we go over our newsletter. So a newsletter is a document that's sent out every day that gives us an idea of what we expect on 4 of the major markets in the world. So if you're not already subscribed to that, to get that newsletter on a daily basis, just email us newsletter@tradewithufos.com. And then what we do in the overview is just explain it more, go into those concepts for those that might need a little bit of explanation around it. Okay, so a few reminders before we get started. Today being a Thursday, we have stocks and investing sessions in the Tradewithufos channel, so 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern respectively. Over the weekend, we'll have sharpening sessions. We'll have our sharpening sessions. They are normally going to be to do with reinforcement, so going over concepts and theories and ideas in an environment where we don't obviously have the pressure of putting trades on, so you can bring your questions and ask as many questions as you need. And we also do psychology sessions as well. Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays are options and futures sessions at 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern respectively as well. Next upcoming class is the futures class. Starts in 2 days time, so it starts on today is Thursday, Saturday, starts on Saturday. So that's July 25th to the 31st, starts at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. After that, we'll have the stocks class, the psychology course, and the trading plans course as well. So you guys can have a look at those dates whilst I read the disclaimers, and then we will crack on and have a look at that newsletter. Okay, so the following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradewithufos provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive when using our products. The following presentation is for educational purposes only. All the symbols and trading ideas discussed are for demonstrating and are not recommendations. Active options and futures trading carries a high degree of risk and may not be suitable for all traders. Past historical trading performance of real or simulated trading does not guarantee success and may not be indicative of future results. You Can Trade is an online media publication service which provides educational investment content and ideas along with live trading demonstrations and does not provide investment or trading advice, research or recommendations of any kind. Please visit www.youcantrade.com for additional disclosure information. Okay, now that that's done, let's go and have a look at that newsletter. Okay, so this is what comes through every day. Like I said, we look at 4 of the major markets in the world. So these are the ones that we go into. The S&P, obviously one of the major equity indexes in the world. Oil and gold, obviously both major commodities. And the euro, which when we look at it as the euro US dollar, is the highest traded currency pair in the world. In fact, the US dollar just by itself is responsible for 80% of transactions every single day. So we've covered a lot of what goes on out there in the markets. We will use a daily time frame for each of these. So of course, different things happen on different time frames. You might not trade using the daily chart, but I would say it falls into what most people look at. Whether you're a long-term trader or a short-term trader, probably the daily chart falls somewhere in that. So for each of these markets, what we want to understand is climate, which what we mean by that is basically trend. In what direction is this market going in? And do we have probabilities on our side that that trend could make us money? Propagating. How long could we expect that climate or that trend to keep going in that direction? It's based on statistics that give us an average as to how long those markets usually move in that direction, telling us what's statistically likely. We get both of these bits of information from an app called the Auto Climate app. I'll show you it on a chart in a minute, and that's what gives us these figures. We also want to understand our nearest UFOs. So UFO stands for unfilled order. What it means is where we expect there to be big stacks of buy orders that could push price upwards or big stacks of sell orders that could push price downwards. What we want to know is where they are on a chart, which is where we would expect price to turn. Our Auto UFO app points these out to us on a chart, giving us an idea of where price is likely to turn based on there being buy or sell orders that could move it. Then we have volatility, so understanding how fast we expect these markets to move, and then we'll come down and understand a little bit of news impact as well. So a lot to get through. So let's start with the S&P. We are looking at SPX.X. That is the symbol that we use for the S&P. So that's what we have here on our chart. So this at the bottom here is our Auto Climate app. It shows us what the trend is, what the climate is, and it shows us that in one of three things really. So we have thick blue dots, which is what we see here, which tells us that we're in a confirmed upwards climate. The market is moving to the upside and we have probabilities that it could work out in our favor. It could show us a thick red dot, which tells us that the market is moving in a downwards motion, a downwards movement, and that we would have probabilities to the downside. Or it could show us a thin dot of either color. If it's a thin dot, we would do nothing. It's an unconfirmed climate, we have less probabilities. So one of three things it shows us. So because here we have a thick blue dot, that means we have confirmed probabilities to the upside. So upwards trend, upwards climate, probabilities on our side. So then we would look at the UFOs and understand where there are likely to be orders, unfilled orders, buy or sell orders that could turn price. So the closest stack of buy orders for the S&P here is 3224.73 to 3198.59. We see that there showed to us by our little green UFO, our buy UFO, the little flying saucer there. Closest stack of sell orders, 3373.23 to 3393.52, as shown to us there by our red UFO, our sell UFO up there. So we saw that we were in a confirmed upwards climate. We show that on the newsletter by just showing you an upwards green arrow. By the way, if it was unconfirmed, remember I said there are three things that could happen. If it was unconfirmed, meaning it was a thin dot, we would put a little cross there so that you know that it's unconfirmed. For today, all of our climates are confirmed, meaning probabilities on our side. Now, what we also want to know is how long can we expect the market to keep going up for in this example. So by the way, any of these figures on the right-hand side, I'm going to round them up. Whatever the decimal place is, I'm going to round it up to the next whole number. So what this tells us here is that we would expect normally that the S&P would go up for 11 candles on a daily chart. However, we've been going up for 15. So we are on the 15th candle to the upside out of what is normally statistically average of 11 candles. So what that means is we're losing a bit of probabilities there. It's unlikely to keep going in that direction because it's surpassed what is statistically probable. Same as if you keep pulling an elastic band, it's more likely to contract on itself than allow you to keep pulling it. Same kind of principle here. Now, of course, that's not to say that it can't happen. Of course, things fall outside of probability sometimes. And we do have a confirmed upwards climate, so probabilities on that side. And no sell UFOs that close that we see on the chart right now that could turn price. So it'd be interesting to see if we do keep breaking that ceiling there as to what is statistically likely. So staying on the S&P, I'm going to come down and just speak about the volatility that we expect. Volatility just means how far we expect price to move within given periods of time. We get the information from the options of these markets. So for those that don't know options, with options, depending on how fast price moves, there is a risk associated with that. You might get exercised or assigned as a result of price movement. So when professional traders who are buying and selling options, and it is normally professional traders that are buying and selling options, especially in these big markets, when they're buying and selling and therefore setting the price of the option, inherent in what they're willing to buy and sell it for is the risk they're willing to take based on how fast they think it will move. So effectively, the numbers that we show here reflect what professional traders think in terms of the movement that is likely to happen. So what we see here, we're looking in the current IV or current implied volatility column. You'll see all of these numbers are percentages and they're also all annualized. So they refer to the movement we would expect in 1 year in the form of percentages. So considering we're on the S&P, we are using VIX.X. That's where we get these numbers from. And we can see here that based on the opinion of professional traders, we would expect the S&P to move up or down in one year of 24%. So if we reverse engineer that, we can understand that on smaller time frames. So what that means is that in one day, we would expect the S&P to move up or down of 49.53 points. In 1 week, up or down of 109.03 points. And in 1 month, up or down of 226.97 points. Okay. So moving on to the next market, we're going to look at oil. That is at CL. That is the continuous futures contract for oil. So let's have a look at CL. I'm just going to have to move the chart a bit once it loads, because we've got our red UFO right up there. So I'm just going to have to scrunch it a little bit so we can see the UFO. Okay, so once again, thick blue dot. So confirmed upwards climate. We have a move to the upside with probabilities that it could work out for us. We have our closest stack of buy orders just below current price. Shows us there in the form of our green UFO, our buy UFO. The numbers for that are 41.13 to 39.97. And you can see price is 41.68. So relatively on this chart, just above that. Closest stack of sell orders all the way up here at 53.55 to 55.43. Obviously a long way away, shows us there on our red UFO. Now, how long can we expect the market to go up for? So same thing, I'm going to round up that second number. We expect oil to go up for 7 candles on a daily chart. Normally, that's what's statistically likely to happen. And we're on candle number 7. So we've come to the end of what is average and what is statistically likely. However, we do have a confirmed upwards climate, so probabilities to the upside. We've just come off of a buy UFO and we don't have sell UFOs close by. Now, of course, new orders can come into the market and change things around. Things that happen in the news obviously can cause unexpected things. So, of course, we want to be safe. Nothing is guaranteed, but we can see where we have our probabilities at the moment. And it's all about putting as many odds on our side as we can. So coming down here, what can we expect in terms of movement on oil? We use OVX.X. That's the chart that we use to get these numbers for oil. So we can see here that based on professional traders' opinions, we would expect a movement up or down in 1 year on oil of 41.30%, which means a movement up or down in 1 day of 1.09 points, a movement up or down in 1 week of 2.39 points, and a movement up or down in 1 month of 4.98 points. Okay, so moving on to the next market, we've got gold here now. So we're using the continuous futures contract again at GC. So let's go here. Just going to move it. Oh, didn't mean to move that way. Move price a little bit. There we go. Okay, so once again, thick blue dot, confirmed upwards climate, market movement upwards and probabilities to the upside. Closest stack of buy orders down here at 1817.4 to 1806.6, as showed there by our green UFO. Closest stack of sell orders here at 1906.1 to 1911.5. Just realized I probably made a mistake on the newsletter there. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think I had the old UFO there, so apologies for that. It is a new one there that's on the chart. It was the prices for that. We'll just go back to it. 1906.1 to 1911.5. Okay. So just coming back to the newsletter here. How long can we expect gold to keep going up? Now, it has actually been going up, although it says we're on candle number 4. We've been going up for quite a while. We can see here on the chart, if I spread this out, we had a buy UFO down here that did exactly what we expect it to do. We expect buy UFOs to push price upwards, and that's what happened. Price came down, hit the buy UFO, and it's been going up really ever since. We've taken a couple of pauses along the way, and then another move to the upside. So normally, gold would go up consistently day on day for 7 candles. Once again, rounding that up, and we're on candle number 4. So we do have statistical probability that it could continue to the upside, and we have a confirmed upwards climate. Obviously, the sell UFO just above there at, was it 1906, I believe. Okay, so in terms of movement that we expect on gold, we are using GVZ.X or GVZ.X. So we would expect a movement up or down in 1 year on gold of 22.45%, meaning in 1 day, a movement up or down of 26.6 points, a movement in 1 week up or down of 58.5 points, and a movement in 1 month up or down of 121.8 points. Okay, so we're just going to move on to the euro dollar, the last market there. So we're using the spot forex of the euro dollar. Have a look. Okay, so we can see here, just before I move the price chart, we've got loads of buy orders stacks just on top of each other there. We've got our sell orders just there. So once again, thick blue dot, confirmed upwards climate probabilities to the upside. Closest stack of buy orders, 1.4489 to 1.1449 to 1.1402. That's our closest stack of buy orders. And again, many stacks of buy orders underneath that, as shown there by our green UFOs. Closest stack of sell orders up here, 1.1740 to 1.1816, which is rounded up where it needs to be to the pip there. So how long can we expect the euro to keep going up for? Remember I said sometimes things come out of probabilities. This is an example of that. So normally the euro US dollar would go up for 4 candles on a daily chart. And we're on candle number 14 to the upside. So we've gone multiple times over what could be expected, multiple times over what the statistics suggest. And of course, we could keep doing that. We do have multiple stacks of buy orders beneath us and sell orders not for a little way there. Although bear in mind, like we said about the elastic band, we are just pulling this and pulling this and pulling this. So we are losing probability for each day that we go past that. So bear that in mind. So coming down to movement on the euro, we use EVZ.X or EVZ.X. We expect a movement up or down in 1 year of 6.82%, meaning a movement up or down in 1 day of 50 pips, up or down in 1 week of 110 pips, and up or down in 1 month of 228 pips. So again, the volatility just gives us an idea of how far these markets are likely to move, either up or down within given periods of time. The climate and the propagating give us an idea of in what direction they're likely to move, so getting a little bit more specific there. And then our UFOs help us figure out where price might be likely to turn, so again helping us be much more specific in terms of entry. Okay. So coming down to news, I'm just going to zoom out a bit so we can see it a bit better. So those of you that follow us normally know that we go to fxstreet.com/economic-calendar, and we normally filter this economic calendar by high impact news on the US market. However, this week, there was no high impact news on the US market. There was no reports coming out that were expected to have high impact. So we could have shown you it blank, but we decided to show you medium impact. That's why we have here the sort of orange bar, sort of 2/3 full. So medium impact news on US markets. Now, if you trade obviously markets outside the US, or you want to look at lower impact news, you're obviously welcome to go to that link and play about with the filters there to see what you want to see. Now, when news actually comes out, when the reports come out, it's usually filled in this column. So you can see here for Tuesday and Wednesday, we have data in this column. That's because the news has already come out. Obviously for today, July 23rd, nothing's coming out until 8:30 Eastern, so very soon. But for the time being, obviously it's blank because nothing's happened yet. We don't know what the answer is. We don't know what the report said. Now, bear in mind, news is an indirect force in the markets, meaning the most direct force that can move price up or down are buy and sell orders. That's it, buying and selling. Of course, news can lead to buy and sell orders. So it is a force that affects the markets, but it is less direct than the orders themselves. So bear that in mind. Obviously, use it in your trade plan, however makes the most sense to you. So a couple of reminders before we round off. If you want to be part of the fun, if you want to join us and be part of the sessions of futures, options, stocks, investing, psychology, sharpening, and support as well, you can join us www.tradewithufos.com/youcantrade. You've got a free 14-day access. So you can try us out for a couple of weeks first, see if you like us, and then go from there. In terms of the next upcoming course, next one we have, like I said, starts on Saturday. That'll be the lovely Jose taking that class. And the link to learn more about it is www.tradewithufos.com/futures live. And that'll be our futures course. You can register for any course at the moment and get an additional one for free. So go to the website and have a play about and see which ones obviously make the most sense to you and how best it is to do that and put it together. Okay, so otherwise, today being Thursday, we'll see you in the stocks and investing sessions if you're part of the Tradictive channel. My colleague Wayne will be coming back at 4:15 p.m. Eastern to have a look at what did happen in the markets, what went as expected, what didn't, what can we learn from it, what was the impact of these news, which of these forces won out. So he'll be doing that at 4:15 p.m. Otherwise, I'll be back in the morning. So I hope you guys have a great trading day. Have a good day in general. And